Hello, everybody. I am so excited to invite you to another Zentangle Explore class where we draw one Zentangle pattern really, really slowly. So if you could hold a pen and draw a line, then this is the perfect class for you. So we're going to start on little pieces of paper or whatever you have, little pieces of paper you can hold in your hand. And also with any pen that you have available. Today I have this Faber-Castell Pit Plant pen, but you can use anything you want. If you have a ballpoint pen, that will be perfect. If you have a Sharpie marker, that will be perfect. If you have a highlighter, that will be great too. Whatever you have. So we are going to start with a nice brief meditation and centering, and then we will draw for a really long time. And I'm super excited for the pattern we're going to explore today. All right, so get nice and comfortable in your seat. Wiggle out anything that needs to be wiggled out. You can close your eyes if you'd like. I'm going to close mine. And just take a big breath and settle in to your seat or wherever you are for this drawing experience. And to begin, let's just check in with our bodies. Hello, body. What's happening? Let's do a brief scan from the top of your head as if you were a candle that is melting, melting. Top of your head, your forehead, your jaw. Just relax. Take note of that inhale and exhale. Allow any thoughts or tension in your body to just release on the exhale. Continuing to melt from the jaw to the throat, the shoulders. Just being open to relaxation. Am I open to relaxing? A little bit more. And if there's any resistance, that is just fine. Just ask yourself again, am I open? Can I release this resistance? Am I open to letting it go? And if it wishes to leave, let it leave gently on the exhale. From the shoulders to the upper arms, elbows, the chest, torso, the abdomen, lower forearms, wrists and hands. Everything that needs to leave is just melting, cooling around your hips, waiting for you to be open to release it. Perhaps take a nice inhale, a nice exhale, and everything around the hips can just be released as the candle continues to melt. From the lower abdomen to the hips to the thighs, the knees, the shins, everything just shedding and releasing and melting. From the shins to the ankles, to the heels, to the arches of your feet, each of your toes, no matter how many toes you have, every single one of them has the opportunity to release and relax. If the candle is completely melted, all of the tension is gone, and if there's still some there, ask yourself, am I open to releasing even this? Is it possible to let this go right now in this moment, allow it to fly free? As you're pondering that question, come back to your breath. Whether it's the inhale or the exhale, there's a little stop. There's a little breath sandwich. Inhale, little stop. Exhale, little stop. Inhale, little stop. Exhale, little stop. Just allowing that cycle of breath to absorb anything else that you might be holding on to, knowing that the exhale is an opportunity to release anything old that's no longer required or necessary or wanted or desired. Inhale is a beautiful opportunity to bring in new thoughts, new creativity, new ideas, new opportunities, new ways of doing things. And a little stop between the inhale and the exhale called rest. Bring in new opportunities and fresh oxygen on the inhale and rest. Release old things, old ideas, old way of doing things, tension in the body, thoughts that you don't want anymore, and rest. Inhale and rest. Exhale and rest. And when you're ready, let's take a big inhale together. A nice long exhale. Nice big inhale together. Long exhale. And one last big inhale together. And exhale. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and know that whatever we draw together, whatever you create in your day today or this weekend or next week or whatever you are in the cycle of the month will be perfect just as it is. Okay, welcome back. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to change my camera and we will begin. All right, so I have this little piece of paper and my pen, and we are going to do what's called a tangulation, which is a combination of two different tangles, and I'm calling this tangulation Mapp. And it's a combination of wood miscellaneous, which you can find in my playlist on YouTube from a couple weeks ago, and also the Tangle Diva Dance Waltz by Zentangle Headquarters, which you could find if you so wish on tanglepatterns.com. You don't need to, I'm going to teach it to you. So we're going to start out and we're going to draw on this entire, whatever your sheet is or whatever your space is, we're going to draw on the whole thing. Or if you want to just draw on a portion of it, that's fine. You can do that. But I'm going to draw on my whole piece of paper because I want to show this all to you. But if you just want to pick one portion, like the right hand or the left hand or just the middle of the paper, that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want because this is an exploration class. So it's all about exploring in your way, really, really slowly with our breath and our pen. So I'm going to start out, and I am drawing an oblong amoeba, strangely shaped, organically shaped shape. Yours does not need to look like mine. And we're going to fill in a number of these shapes throughout this space, whatever space you're working in, even if you're only working on part of your tile. And we're going to do it really, really slowly. slow lines. When we drew wood a couple weeks ago, we kind of kept it to just ovals and orbs. Now I want to explore shapes, and you can even explore off the edge of your page because these patterns just continue on and on. We see them for this brief moment when they are on our page. But they continue on and on and on. We just capture them with a little pattern photograph while we're drawing in Zentangle Explorer. You can draw whatever shapes you want. I don't expect them to look anything like mine. So we're going to fill up with a bunch of different shapes. This seems like a good amount for me. And then we're going to draw a line. And I'm going to orient my paper sideways. And this line is going to, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do this. Okay, so this line is going to aura. Actually, I'm going to start out really easily. Sorry if I'm confusing you. This line is going to aura whatever shapes it encounters. So I'm drawing my line really slowly, just on a little excursion with my line. It doesn't need to be a straight line. And then when I find a rock or an orb, something that I've already drawn, I'm going to go straight. And I just realized that I forgot a very important part of this tangle. So that line we're going to leave right there. And now I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So sorry. And we are going to draw aura lines around each of our shapes, whatever they look like. An aura line is just a line that envelopes it like a little bubble. And it mimics whatever shape has come before. So whatever shape you have, no matter what it is, just draw a double line around it. Really slowly. Drawing slow lines is a really wonderful opportunity to pay attention to how you're holding your pen. And if you need to stop and rotate your paper or your little square rectangle, just start on the line again. When you start on the line and finish on the line, it makes a nice, complete line as if you drew the whole thing, just like stamped it on there. And the key to making those joins look seamless is really just slowing down and practice. Nothing more than that. Drawing is simply practice. Learning to use your hand and your eyes and hold your pen in a new way. And over time, the practice becomes noticeable. Even when I teach Zentangle proper, this is a bit of a variation of Zentangle. It's not really Zentangle. We're just working with Zentangle patterns. When I teach a Zentangle tile to a brand new group of people who haven't done it before, my introductory classes, even when they get done with their second class, they can look at their first tile and say, oh my gosh, my lines have changed so much. Just from drawing a couple of hours. So this one, because I have my line here, I'm going to aura this one on the inside because I have space to do that. This pattern is a bit of a process because usually I teach you something really quickly and then you can go off and draw on your own. But you are all drawing on your own. This one is so fun and I love it so much that I want to teach it to you, even though it's a little bit of a longer process. So the rest of these are large enough that I'm going to aura them on the inside. Third or second aura, or the third line, adding to the inside of each shape. And if yours aren't large enough to add to the inside, some people draw really small things. That's totally fine. You can just add an aura on the outside. And you can see from this one, where I ordered on the inside twice, I didn't have space. So you can just add little islands in there. It's totally fine. Remember, this is an exploration class. So really, whatever you do and whatever questions you decide to answer by saying, gosh, I wonder, teacher's doing this, but I wonder what would happen if I did this. You have a pen, you have a piece of paper, you have your beautiful breath. You can answer that question, whatever it is. What if I added purple highlighter to the middle of each one of these spaces? What if I added a weighted line so that I have a thicker line around a portion of these? What if I colored the centers in black, which we will do eventually. Right now, just going to aura our shapes. And done with the aura of your shapes. I'm going to come back to that line that I started. And aura the line. Really slowly. It doesn't matter where you start from one side to the other. There's a couple things I can do here with this one. I can start my line here. And go all the way around. So consider this to be a line expedition. Here I have the choice of continuing straight or looping back around. Continue straight, so I'm going to show you something else. So you always have the choice about where your line wants to go. I used to love those cartographers' maps where it shows you the high elevations and the low elevations as a kid, probably because it was all a lot of patterns. This tangulation reminds me of that. And then when you're filling in, when you have these little islands, if you want to add some black, you can, or some other color. tell my Zentangle students that a tile and a tangle or pattern is most pleasing with equal amounts of black, white, and gray. The gray is the shading, and we don't have shading here, although you can add it when you're done if you like. I don't teach it here. Well, the white is the tangle or the tile, that is the paper, and black is the ink. And so now we're going to add some diva dance waltz. And so on this line, whatever line you have, I'm just adding a shape. I'm going to make it black. It can be any shape you want it to be. This is what makes this pattern really interesting. It would be beautifully interesting if we just auraed all these lines, but now we get to alter those lines by adding shapes wherever we would like to add them. So now when I come around with my next line, to aura whatever shapes or knots are in the way in my path, and then aura my beautiful black shapes that I've added. So this is the beginning of Diva Dance Waltz, a line, a second aura line, and then add shapes. That's in my second line. So now I'm adding shapes. Coloring in these shapes is a really also another wonderful opportunity to check in with your hand. If you're gripping your pen, you can relax that hold. There's no wrong shape that you could add. Everything is absolutely perfect. There's no perfect place to do it. You can add them wherever you like. Every place you add one is an opportunity to notice how that changes the look of what you've drawn, which gives you information about what you might like to draw next. It also informs those what if questions. You get information from what's happening. You say, oh, kind of like that, or I'm not so sure I do like that. What if I did this? What if I tweaked it in this way? Now we start again with the aura. Very slow lines, one side to the other. Whatever orientation you were drawing in. Diva Dance Waltz calls for two lines. You might say, well, I only want to do one line. Can I do that? The answer is yes. I want to draw with a thin pen nib and a really thick one. So I have thin lines and thick lines. Can I do that? The answer is yes. I want to add in more of my organic or amoeba type shapes. Right now, after I've already started, can I do that? The answer is yes. I want to draw four lines and then add black shapes. Can I do that? The answer is yes. I want my original organic
shape that gets already right in the beginning to look like a question mark or the letter D or the letter Z. Can I do that? The answer is yes. I always recommend using watercolor paper and a permanent pen, ink pen, so you can add watercolor after if you want to. I was taught how to draw this way by Amy Miracle over at Mindful Art Studio. It has changed my relationship with my pen, my relationship with my breath, influenced my ability to slow down and sit quietly and to appreciate my lines and my inquiries when drawing and those what if questions pop up. If we're not paying attention, sometimes they get missed or they get pushed aside, brushed aside. I don't have time for that. Go away, what if question. I don't want to do something more. That, not, well, it's okay if that's what's happening. Becoming aware of it is super helpful because all of those little what if questions that may seem pesky and bothersome are actually your intuition and your creativity knocking at the door saying, let me in. Let's do something fun. I want to play. It's time to play. What if you do this? I want to know what happens. You become aware of them. You can say, oh, that's where the good stuff is. Stuff I wouldn't have thought of on my own. It just comes up in the moment because I'm drawing, because I've opened myself up to a creative activity. And sometimes when you have a question about something completely different, scheduling or some problem with your work or your kids, or you want to make for dinner, you hold that question loosely while you're drawing. Sometimes the answer will come to you while you're just sitting here breathing, focusing on your lines. And that is super magical and helpful. I think it's true of every time we draw that every time you draw a certain pattern, it looks different every single time. This one in particular feels if I could draw this for weeks and weeks on end and be delighted over and over again by the outcome. I don't have enough space to go through. I just turn my line around. And you turn around line, do a U-turn, back out, go a different direction. U-turns make it really interesting. Fortunately, I always say this when I'm teaching Zentangle, well, Zentangle in general, but also Zentangle pattern diva dance waltz. There's nobody coming around to count your lines. No Zentangle police. You want to put 5 lines and then add a shape, or 3 lines and add a shape, 2 lines add a shape, 1 line add a shape. That is totally up to you. It's especially up to you in an exploration class like this. This is a class where everything you do is absolutely perfect, delightful, and lovely. And when I'm done with this side, I have trouble drawing the other side because I can't see with my hands, so turn my tile around. Here, if I want to, I can just skip this space, come back and fill that in, and create another circular line. Whatever it is that you want to do with your line is totally, totally fine. Do it really, really slowly. Say, well, what if I want to make that a continuous line and go all the way into the center? Spiral it around. Can I do that? The answer is yes. If I want to fill in a larger space black, can I do that? The answer is yes. The purple or gold or silver or red, yellow, and green. Yes, 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 yes. See what happens. Gather information. Find out what happens. You can start a new piece of paper, a new exploration, whatever you like. Starting off with some sort of organic shape, multiple shapes, adding an aura 2 times around that shape, either the outside or the inside, or the inside, inside, outside, outside, whatever you like. Each of their shapes. And then starting out with lines, 2 lines, and then add some black shapes. 2 lines for aura, add some black shapes. Diva Dance Waltz is part of a trio of tangles that by Roberts and Maria Thomas, who created Zentangle, a method of drawing called Zentangle, created in honor of Laura Harms, and the CZT Diva on the Diva CZT site. I don't know that she blogs anymore, but she did have a challenge site for many years. And it was in honor of her 100th blog post. And so they made a whole series of 3 Diva Dance tangles for her. And this is one of them, Diva Dance Waltz. And it's the waltz because there are 3 steps: line, line, shape, line, line, shape. There's also Diva Dance Foxtrot, which is 4. There are 4 counts to the foxtrot. It has 4 lines, 4 steps. And Diva Dance Rock and Roll. Rock and Roll for Anything Goes, which we will likely draw at some point in this exploration class, but not today. Today we're waltzing. Really slowly. Strangulation, I'm calling Mapp, is just a really wonderful way to take your lines on a walkabout. Without any obstacles. You wanted to name those obstacles with whatever's happening in your life, and you could use this as an exploration of finding solutions, finding ways around those obstacles. I'm naming this obstacle time. Look at me going around time and figuring it out. You want to go back in and you have any spaces that look like they need some black or some more lines, you can do that. You are creating this beautiful masterpiece of lines that will look like no other masterpiece of lines ever, because you drew it right now. And even you, that's the amazing part, even you could not replicate it, even if you tried to do it. It's coming together in this moment, right now, for you. Okay. That is my exploration of Mapp.
highlight. Hello. I am so excited you came to draw with me. If you would like to donate to these classes, you can do so at paypal.me/eternal possibility. You can find out other classes that I teach on eternalpossibility.com. And I hope that you keep drawing in whatever way brings you joy. Have a lovely day.